And this is, I'm not entirely sure if this is going to work just because Zoom servers are being so overtaxed by everyone working and schooling from home.
We need to do a second version of the trailer with a bunch of reaction shots mixed in.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Reaction shots. We need to do that.
It's working, it's working, yay. All right, so to say. All right, muting that. All right, we are good to go. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, guys.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to keep in track of this chat. So I'm Priscilla Spencer. I'm the director of the trailer and like crazed super fan. I also like run Jim's website, one of the betas. What don't I do? Then of course we have the man himself, Jim Butcher, ready to answer basically as many of your questions that we could fit into an hour. Then serving as our ninja in the background, we have Alexi Vandenberg of Bard's Tower. He's the guy that you reach out to if you want a signed copy of Peace Talks or Battleground. I have all the his contact information on Jim's website. So yeah, he's the mastermind of the virtual signing. And yeah, he'll be feeding us questions, sort of keeping track of the chat because y'all are insane and excitable, and we're not going to be able to keep track of all the amazing comments that you guys are throwing our way. So yes, so let's just dive right in. Cool. I'm you guys are finally seeing this trailer. And
I know, it's neat. I'm just Brady bunching here. You know, as I try and get used to this. All right. Teleconferencing, neat. Not something I've needed to do before professionally.
Well, yeah, probably a lot of that happening in the next few months until we get the whole vaccination situation sorted out. So yeah, all righty. Where did my little Google Doc go? I have like 18 windows open. Doot, doot, doot. Here we go, excellent. All right, so everyone right now is flailing their minds out over the fact that there are gonna be 2 Dresden novels published this year. How did that happen?
Well, it started off when I started writing Peace Talks, and I thought that what I would do is I would build a better mousetrap. And so I started writing a novel that was essentially, it was going to be about 2/3 of a Dresden Files novel, like everybody was used to, that then took this sudden hard juke to one side, and then was the rest of a novel. Although it really wasn't the rest of a novel, it was 2/3 of a novel of its own. So basically, we had this novel that was 4/3 when I sort of got finished, and it was this Frankensteinian thing, and I tried for the longest time to make it work. 2 or 3 years, and finally my editor said, well, we can publish it like this, and if we do, it's gonna have a $50 cover price, or maybe more. And I didn't want to be the first guy that had hardbacks go up over 50, on kind of the popular scale. So I'm like, well, what's the other option? They're like, well, we can just break it into 2 books, and we'll do one this year and one next year. And so I had to sit down and think about it. I didn't like either of those. So I had to sit down and think about it. And finally I thought, well, I've got 2/3 of one book and 2/3 of another book. If I can just write the other third of both books like I've done before, then it should turn out okay. So I set out to do that. So I was set out to write, 2/3 of a novel over the course of about a month in order to get it done in time. And then I said, but if I'm doing this, if we're going to do this and do 2 books, though, we're not going to split it out by a year because that's way too long, and these guys have been waiting way too long. So how about we publish them on back-to-back months, and we'll do it like that, and we'll do it like the old 2-part TV episodes that would come out on the various shows that came on. You always knew the shows were getting exciting when the 2-part episodes came out back in the day. And they said, well, we can't do it in 1 month, but we can do it in 2. And I was grumpy about it. But I'm like, okay, fine. If you can do it in 2, we can do it in 2. But apparently, there's too many of you guys now at this point. So this one's on you for being too many of you. And so it causes a bunch of problems with the publishing schedule. It causes problems with budgeting and all kinds of other stuff. So it was kind of a miracle that we were able to pull this off. So I'm really happy that we're going to be able to turn them out just like almost back to back. I kind of wanted to do a Steven Spielberg thing with Back to the Future 2, where you went into Back to the Future 2, and then at the very end they say, and Back to the Future 3 comes out next month, and it's like, oh my God, that was amazing, to live through. So I kind of wanted to share that with you guys.
Fantastic. So will this change the number of case files that we're going to have in the series now that we've sort of split this one into two?
Yeah, we'll be at whatever it was going to be +1 at this point.
Nice. So it'll be like 21, 22 case books plus a 3-book apocalyptic trilogy after that?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm thinking it'll be 22, and that way it's 25 books, and that's a nice, solid number.
That's nice and round, yes.
Yeah.
Though let's completely throw off like the Denarians appearing in every book that's a multiple of 5.
No, it should be all right.
Excellent. Cool. And then another question that I've been hearing a lot from the fans, do you know if there's going to be any like upsets to the publishing schedule because of coronavirus? Like, do you know if Marsters was able to like record everything in time?
I do not know actually if Marsters was able to record everything in time. I assume that he is. I haven't heard anything yet from from Penguin, but I mean, recording voice stuff, it's you in a room by yourself. It's kind of built in isolation, you know, so.
Excellent. Spray some Lysol around and it'll be good. Fantastic. So what did you find was like the most challenging part of splitting the manuscript when you're sort of creating that?
Coming up with a title for the new book that I hadn't thought about a title for, you know. That was because we argued. You remember that on the beta list, we argued about it for a long time. You know, so just trying to figure out what the title was, and finally it just occurred to me. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm writing a little mini duology book here. So we'll have a title that links to the previous one, and then you know people will just take them both places together. You know, in the future.
Excellent. Yes, the War and Peace duology.
Yeah, basically.
I also, because I am very biased, want to talk about what you think about the trailer.
Ooh, okay.
Because also, like, you were part of, you were there for filming part of it. So I want to know, what was your favorite part of the trailer, like, completed it, but then also, like, what was your favorite part of, like, seeing it being made?
Oh, of this first one, you mean? I think I've got to say Marcone is my favorite part of the first one. The actor they've got playing Marcone, he is sweet. He does such a good job. I mean, he manages to put so much menace into a half-second reaction shot, and not everybody can do that. And that wound up looking awfully nice. I like that.
Yes, yeah. His name is Chris Showerman, and he's just absolutely magnificent. And also, just like, he was the nicest guy to work with. Like, both
he was a sweetheart. Yeah.
Both with Mab and Marcone, who are like the two sort of most terrifying characters, were just like,
and he did so well with Marcone and so well with George of the Jungle too. That's range, man. That is range.
Yes. I was hoping that the fans would like Google it themselves and discover it on their own. But yes, Chris Showerman, who plays Marcone, like 20 years ago or whenever that came out, was the titular character in the direct-to-video sequel to George of the Jungle.
Nice.
So there's some amazing photos of him online, all in George of the Jungle shape. So I encourage people to Google that and then just marvel at Chris's range, because holy cow, who does that?
Right.
So one question that we got in the chat that Alexi sent to us that I was laughing at is, can you tell us why Harry and Marcone were getting dressed together?
No, I can't tell you that. Classified until the proper literature comes out.
Excellent. All right, let's see. So I know that when you're writing Cinder Spires, you actually changed Cavendish's outfit because of like how Kitty decided to cosplay her. Were there anything that like over the course of the like pre-production development and whatnot of the trailer that like changed in any way your revising of the novels?
I think there wasn't there? Were there some things that got shot, and at the last minute I was like, oh, let's make them consistent, and ran in. I can't remember what I did, but I do remember saying, oh, wait a minute, it got shot this way. Maybe we should change it around. And then vice versa. There were a couple things that got shot, And I was like, sorry, I had to rewrite it. You know?
Yes.
I know. And after all the work you did, good Lord.
Definitely, yes. And actually, it was like when I was scripting the trailer that we started to realize, like, you know what, you've really written 2 books here, Jim.
Yeah. There's actually 2 books here. Yeah.
So I guess that was a
It worked
small
out that
change
way,
that
but
happened as a result of that.
yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, and as it turned out, I'm kind of glad I'm doing, you know, the extra big surprise for the fans this year. It's a good year to give an extra big surprise, you know. So, yeah.
Let's see.
He said from quarantine.
How are you holding up?
Low energy levels, but nothing bad. Cool. Kitty's got a bit of a cough, but and occasionally running a low fever, but so far it hasn't become anything outrageous. So
nice. Fenris is taking good care of her, though, right?
Yeah, he's all curled up with her right now. I mean, he can't be doing stuff like this. You know, he's got important stuff to be doing. You know, so Fenris is quite unimpressed with everyone in his house, including me. Yeah, for those who don't know, Fenris is he was a kitten. He was a feral kitten that Kitty rounded up 3 feral kittens and was going and finding them homes and everything. But then we found out later, and he had almost starved to death by the time we got him, so he was really grateful to be here. But then we found out later they weren't kittens at all. They were all like 5 or 6 years old. They were just little, and Fenris had swindled us into adopting them and finding them homes, and now they're all fat and happy and snuggling people places. And Fenris is down, you know, snuggling Kitty right now. Good Lord. Cats, they're not to be trusted.
Are we going to be seeing him in the next Cinder Spires book?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the cats got to go into the Cinder Spires books because then they're deductible. So,
excellent.
You know, as long as I show you cute pictures of them and show you guys like cute pictures and tell you, yeah, look at this cat, he's cute. Go buy my new book. You know, then they're a promotional expense. So, you know, I can do that.
Definitely. All right, let's see. I'm going through Alexi's list of questions that he's picked out. Who wins, Dresden or McGonagall? Like McGonagall from Harry Potter?
Oh God! Like Harry would hit an old lady, for crying out loud. McGonagall wins.
McGonagall survived cancer. She kicks butt. Let's see. One person says, is there a likelihood of these actors being used in more longer video segments? I would love for that to happen.
That would be an awfully cool thing to happen. That would be a great thing to happen. We'll see if it happens.
Excellent. So do you want to check out the list of questions and toss a few my way regarding the trailer?
Let me see here.
Do you need me to resend you the...
What questions? Where?
I'm
oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, Alexi sending it to us. Thank you, Alexi.
Yay.
All right. Here's one for Priscilla and Jim. What were the most fun moments of the trailer to film?
Ooh.
I wasn't actually filming. I was like standing around, and I was editing the revised copy, and also working on another project that had to be done like overnight while we were doing the filming that I can't tell you guys about yet because it's still super secret. But for the part that I was there and that I did see, what was the part that you liked filming best, Priscilla?
One of the things that was just like ridiculously fun was like getting the Blade Runner eye effect to work for Lara and Thomas.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, we'd intended to do camera tests, so like we just like watched a lot of tutorials on how to do it, but like we hadn't actually like done any of the tests ahead of time because things got really crazed toward the end. And so like when we were able to like position the light exactly so that it reflected into the actor's eye but like not into the camera, just like you could just see like everyone was just watching around the monitors, and the moment they got it right, just like the entire room erupted in cheers. And yeah, it was just so just so rewarding and exciting. And then also it was really fun filming the little sort of like Marvel in credits Spider-Man joke, because oh my gosh, Jason Bernardo, who plays Harry, like he was such a trooper. Like anything that we would throw at him, he would just like all right, let's do it. Basically we had him like on this inclined plane, like with these sort of like sheets of like faux brick like facade from Home Depot. And originally, like the production designer had designed it so that like his knees could be hooked over the edge, but unfortunately like we couldn't get the camera where it needed to be to get the angle it needed to be, and so essentially like we had to have like 4 grips and like PAs like holding his feet as like his entire body was on this
That's right. Everybody was gathered around Harry. Yeah, all these crew members just trying to hold him up until he could get to the end of the scene.
Mm-hmm. But then like he never complained once. I mean, like he was just like such a fantastic actor to collaborate with, always bringing just like fun new interpretations, and was just like so eager to learn more about the character. He read a Skin Game ahead of time, and just like absolutely loved it. Though, oh my gosh, speaking of actors that like really went over the top in getting into character, Sarah Flannery, who plays Murphy, like she started by reading Stormfront just to get a sense of the character, and then she loved it, and then she ended up reading the entire series. So
well, that all the Murphys have done that now. Mm-hmm. So because the one from the TV show did as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, I can't say enough wonderful things about my actors.
Here's another question. Is there a likelihood of these actors being used in more, or no? So you already asked that one. But we
yes,
talked about that.
I would love that.
Yeah, is there an likelihood of these actors being used in longer video segments? You know, I think I think that's supposed to be weighted a little in the question.
Yes.
And yeah, we would both love that. That would be cool. All right, here's another question from JSM Stormy. Can we expect a trailer for Battlegrounds as well? And if so, when about?
This trailer actually included scenes from Battleground. So some of the folks from that managed to get a copy of the ARC might be a little confused. We're like, wait a second, like, I don't remember this scene. We're like, yes, you don't. So
yeah, it's true. Okay, let's see here. Does the Winter Mantle make Harry more venerable to Lara Wraith? I'm sorry, but it was written venerable. It makes him, well, I mean, it probably gives him a little bit more gravitas, but I don't know if it makes him any older. I think you meant, does it make him more vulnerable to Lara Wraith? And I would say that, yeah, anything that makes you more aggressive and horny probably does make you more vulnerable to Lara Wraith.
Birgit Ludemann, who plays our Lara, I mean, like, she is just so ridiculously gorgeous. There were moments when like
my God,
editor and I just like actually like got distracted editing because we were just so completely entranced by her eyes.
Yeah, good looking woman.
Mm-hmm. And as well, like I showed the trailer to my mom, and like she and my dad were sitting on the end of the bed, like in this hotel room, and like when in the little smirk that Morricone gives, like my mom actually like fell backwards into a swoon at that. So like, dang, well played, Chris. All right, let's see. And so I'm actually gonna share this document as well with you, Jim.
From Ryan Johnson. So Murphy was cutting off her cast, not her leg, right? No comment, Ryan. I mean, you're just gonna have to read the book. Although, wow, if you could cut your leg off with a Dremel tool, respect. I mean, that takes some doing. That would take some work.
And on a white couch too.
You'd have to take it off in sections. Yeah, that would be. Whew. Can you tell us who each of the characters were in the roundtable scene, Priscilla?
Yes. So the folks on the outside edges are extras that, like, actually most of them extras from the fandom, who responded to the ad that I posted on Jim's website, so like asking for extras and PAs, and actually there was an initial posting that I'd made as well. We actually ended up hiring some of our key crew positions, just because, like, in Hollywood you're going to find a lot of like really incredible talented film people, and there's a substantial overlap between people that work in sci-fi fantasy filmmaking and Dresden Files fans. So our costume designer is a big Dresden fan, our production designer and his art director, like all the folks that helped me out in auditions were Dresden fans. Our Justine is a huge Dresden fan, Lacey. Yeah, like we just had this fabulous team, and like, yeah, so many PAs and extras that really answered the call and just completely just rocked it on set. What was the question?
Who are the characters in the roundtable scene?
Yes. Okay, so yeah, the ones on the periphery are unnamed extra, or unnamed accorded dignitaries. Though we did have one of our extras cameoing as Mr. Pharaoh. You'll notice the character with the unlit cigarette who has smoke sort of coming out of his nostrils. Of course, center screen, we have Mab, camera left with the Princess Leia crown braid as Molly, and then to Molly's left we have Ivana, who is the Svartalf character that we see in the beginning scene. Then I'm actually not looking at it at the moment. Oh, my desktop is that scene, so I can just look at that.
That's why I fielded it to you. So
let's see. Then of course at the table to camera right, we have Marcone, we have Lara, and then the other folks are unnamed extras. The cluster of White Council folks that we have in the background, we have Ramirez, Ebenezer, and Warden Chandler. Warden Chandler is actually our production designer, Wade, wearing Harry's warden cloak, just because, so we didn't have to make 3 of them. But yeah. So yeah, that was such a fun shot to do. And it's actually a little different from how you describe it in the book. Like there was a different group of characters that you described sort of in a Last Supper tableau, but like that image stuck with me and I was like, this is too cool not to put in the trailer. So artistic license, I hope you don't mind.
Oh, no, I don't care. Rule of cool always applies.
Excellent.
You should always, the rule of cool should never be in conflict with your story, but in this case it isn't, so. All right, let's see. Here's several questions all together, kind of here in the Q&A. Who is Ivana? Why, Thomas? Why? Harry and Lara? Harry versus Ebenezer? Why do you do this to us? Because I can. There.
That might have been the most fun part of the trailer, because like I've been sort of at the front row of like Jim torturing the betas and then torturing his fans. So like I've always been one of the tortured, and it feels so good to be like the torturer instead of the torturee.
Yeah, but it's not sadism, and here's why. Because a sadist takes pleasure in the actual suffering of the people that are doing. So that's not what we're doing. We want you to have a good time. Yeah, we're not actually sadists. We're more evangelical masochists. It hurts so good, and we just want to share that with everyone.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, in a good story should break your heart sometimes. I mean, that's what the good ones do. That's why we care about them. Let's see here.
So here's a question that we had from Kenda LeBeau. Which characters?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so Kenda asks, which characters were hardest / easiest to cast? How much input did Jim have when casting actors for the parts? So definitely, like I did send you all my favorites, so that you could weigh in.
Yeah. No. I had handed it to Priscilla, the super fan. The whole point of that was I wasn't going to have to worry about it. So.
Definitely.
Yeah. This was Priscilla put this together, and I trusted her, so I just said, put it together. Let's see what you do, and I was very pleased with results.
Yay! So probably
it's good for me. Good for me to not try and control absolutely everything.
Yes.
I'm sure that's a healthy.
Delegation, probably the most valuable trait to learn, something that I also struggled with, being that we're both kind of perfectionistic and very protective of our babies.
Let's see. Are we ever going to see a published account of the short fiction, like the Christmas short and the microfiction? You will get the Christmas short. It's gonna be included at the end of Battleground, because you're gonna need a cup of hot chocolate. And let's see. And let's see. The microfiction. I don't know. I guess I might do something with it sometime. I mean, I mostly just wrote it just to write it and give it to you guys on the website. So.
The challenge is that because they're so short, it's gonna be hard to sort of accrue enough to justify a publication. I don't remember the exact.
Yeah, if I wind up doing another anthology, then yeah, that'll probably happen. They'll probably get thrown in there.
Yeah. At the moment, we have about like 1/10 of the length of like briefcases or side jobs. In terms of like supplemental or like short story material that wasn't included in either of those anthologies. So it'll be a while before we get to a third one, if that does end up happening. But in the meantime, like all the microfictions are available for free on Jim's website. So yeah, you can enjoy those. Oh yeah, that's a thing that's happening. For anyone that is not aware, 2020 is the Year of Dresden. This is the 20th anniversary of next week. April 1st is the 20th anniversary of the publication of Stormfront. So like every Tuesday this year, we're doing posts with new fun material, microfictions, new art, contests, giveaways.
Yeah, I was so tempted to do all of this on April 1st and just let people be sure it was a fake because of our April Fool's pranks. I really did want to do that. Everybody's like, no, Jim, no. I'm like, fine. Let's see.
The second half of Kenda's question, which characters were the hardest, the easiest to cast? I'd probably say that the hardest were like Harry, Thomas, and Lara, because you had to find 3 actors that like not only like looked like the characters, could act the parts brilliantly, but then also like looked like they could be related to each other.
Yeah.
You had to find a Harry that could be related to Thomas, who could be related to Lara, and so that was very difficult. Then easiest. Oddly enough, the actress that we ended up choosing for Molly, like she must be the only actress in Hollywood whose headshots make her look older than she actually is. Like usually, like you just have to imagine that like whatever headshot you're looking at, like imagine the person 5 years older, and that's what they actually look like.
Right.
But for some reason she was the other way around, and like she looked so much like Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica, who was like my mental headcanon for Murphy. Then I'm like ooh, like if we end up choosing a younger Dresden, then we would have to have a younger Murphy to sort of go along with it. Yeah, that was another challenge, like finding age appropriate Harrys and Murphys that kind of that looked like they're in their like late 30s, early 40s. Yeah, like the correct ages relative to. But yes, so I actually ended up calling her for Murphy originally, and she actually emailed me saying like that like this isn't the age range for me. Like are you sure like that this is the part you want to call me for? And I'm like, yes, just please come. Here's the reason why. She came, and then like as she was delivering Murphy's lines, I'm like, oh, she's Molly. You're Molly. And so like I actually like I gave her a copy of the Molly audition sides and had her just like go out in the hallway for 15 minutes, and she came back and then just completely crushed the role of Molly. So, and I'm so sad that we ended up not being able to use very much of her, because she's just a phenomenal actress, Catalina Otter. And yeah, like I wonder if like if our SAG agreement will allow me to share some of the audition material, because with the actor's permission, because like I want the fandom to see how great she is. Let's see.
Oh, okay. Here's the question. So we were able to meet James Marsters and had our copy of Stormfront signed. We asked if he could play anyone. Who would it be? He says Butters. How do you guys feel about that?
I would pick someone different.
Yeah, probably me
Mostly
too.
because like Marsters would just so completely rock as like Nicodemus or Marcone if Chris Sharman isn't available.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I would want someone that sort of is a little closer to the physical description, or Richard Ayoade, whoever's available.
No. What do you mean whoever's available? Weird Al Yankovic is available. You know.
Excellent. Let's see.
Let's see.
One person asks, what were the biggest changes between the script and the final edit? Actually, like, because we had to sort of cram so much in such a short amount of time, and like one of the locations was slightly rained out, we ended up having to cut this like an additional scene with Lara. I won't go into any of the details because it didn't get into the trailer, so in my mind it now is categorized as spoiler. But yeah, so there's a lot of really great Lara stuff that you can look forward to when you get the book, that unfortunately wasn't able to make it into the trailer. But my editor, Stephanie Piotrowski, actually she works as a trailer editor for AMC, like the television network. And she was another of the fans that that was able to join the crew based on the posting that I did on Jim's website. And she has just been absolutely incredible to work with, just because she knows the series backwards and forwards, and the ideas that she presents have just been so incredibly invaluable. So.
Okay, let's see what else we got here. Questions like, what is Kincaid doing? Where were each of these, or what is Molly doing when she's pointing? We're not going to tell you that. That's why we have a trailer to make you ask those questions. We're going to tell you that. Go inside the book. As soon as it's available, you know. Let's see. Where did you film these?
Everything was filmed in LA. The castle stuff is Lobo Castle, just kind of north of Malibu. And yeah, there's just this beautiful home that sort of has this kind of castle-y style facade. And yeah, it was just such a treat to film there. Yeah, then like Murphy's home is actually both Murphy's home and Thomas's apartment are and Harry's apartment are all my house. Then let's see, what else do we have going on? The scene where Harry and Marcone are changing, as well as all of the sort of Thomas's cell. Those were actually filmed at my old job site, ZH Productions. They've very generously let me film there. And I don't think they had any idea like what scale we were going to be. but yeah, they're all like in the film scene, and so they were super jazzed about what we were doing with their space, and they were so excited to see how just like with lighting we completely transformed these spaces that they like walk past every day. So that was really fun. And were there any other things? Yeah. Let's see.
How deeply was Lara feeding on Dresden in the trailer? But I don't know. I didn't film it. Ask Priscilla that. So check the book,
I think Jason felt very fed upon.
Yeah. Let's see. So does Peace Talks end with a big cliffhanger? I tried not to make it like the worst cliffhanger. I tried to set it up to where it was like, you know, it's obvious you're not going to see all of this play out right now. And to wrap up the story, you know, the big stories that were that get started for this book that we're wondering about, like the stuff like you see at the beginning of chapter 1, stuff like that. I try and, you know, I tried to find whatever resolution I could for all the short-term stuff, but you know, it's easy to wrap things up real neatly when there's a happy ending. When there's not one, it's not so easy. Oh, did I give away anything there? I might have. Or have I? Okay. Let's see. What faction does Ivana belong to? Ivana's a smart elf. Oh, here's a paranoid.
We actually saw her briefly in.
What was Ivana in last?
Bombshells.
She's mostly been, yeah, she mostly appeared
An
in the short
unnamed
stories.
cameo in Bombshells.
Yeah, she was just appearing in short stories with where the Spardops got involved earlier. But yeah, she's not like anybody new. She's been there before. Here's a good paranoid question. In Cold Days, during the mind battle between Harry and Sharkface near Demon Reach, Sharkface says the following: "I am Gatebreaker, Harbinger. I am Feargiver, Hopeslayer. I am he who walks before." The commas between Gatebreaker and Harbinger and between Feargiver and Hopeslayer made me wonder, knowing how evil you are, is Sharkface naming himself in all 5 of those instances, or is he naming Dresden in the first half of the second 2? I.e., is he calling Dresden Harbinger and Hopeslayer? I don't know. I just write these books, man. That's all I do. I just kind of write down what goes through my head. That's
So the person
paranoid,
noticed a comma in the middle of a phrase that changed the meaning. Did you intend this?
Well, I mean, did it change the meaning? It all sort of depends on how it's being delivered, doesn't it? I don't know. We should listen to the audio, see what James thinks. Because he really does. I mean, he changes the story occasionally based upon the inflections and emphasis that he puts on his words and the way he delivers the lines. He occasionally changes things. A couple of times he's just broken my heart doing that. It's like, James, you're evil. That's me saying that. So is that Spider-Man scene part of the books or just a joke? No, we didn't put any jokes in the trailer. Well, I mean, we put a couple jokes in the trailer, but not like false April Fool's stuff. We didn't put that in the trailer. If there's a second trailer, is there any chance Jim will cameo? Any thought on the character? I think you could pull off Elder Gruff. Any thought on the character you would play? What do you think? Who do you cast me as, Priscilla?
Ooh,
I mean, I know who I got cast as. I got cast as J. Random Corpse, but that's okay. I'm there. You just probably won't be able to see me.
Yes. Yeah, I think that the
but
shot.
If you were going to cast me as somebody in the trailer, who would you cast me as?
Captain Grimm? No.
Oh, no, okay. I'm too old for Grimm. He's like in his 30s. Too old. Oh my gosh, people in Hollywood, they actually say that when you're talking about casting and you mention someone for casting and they go, nah, too old. Sounds exactly like that. It does. It shocked me. Too old.
Yeah, like.
Who
do we cast as the romantic lead against this 50-year-old man? This 35-year-old woman? No, too old. Oh, poor Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yes, exactly. Let's see. Is there a good deal of book dedicated to Harry's kids, parentheses S kids, or does Peace Talks take place over a very short deal of time? Like most of the Dresden Files novels, Peace Talks is essentially, it's about Harry's worst weekend of the year. Although in this case, we're doing a double weekend, so it's like up to that point, his worst weekend of the year. But I mean, we're going to hit on some stuff with what Harry's family life is like as we're going, but these aren't really family drama books so much as they are adventure books that occasionally have families in them. Let's see what else we got here. So is Mirror Mirror after Battleground now? Yeah, probably so. Yeah, I've found that I can change the order of some of the books of which way I drop them into the series, and if I'm careful about it, it's not really a big deal. That's what happened with Proven Guilty and Deadbeat. Originally, Proven Guilty was going to be book 7 and Deadbeat was going to be book 8, but my editor came in and said, "Nah, that's a little more family drama. We need something bigger, for your premiere for hardback." So I said, okay, well let's have a city level apocalypse right now.
One question for me from Jacob Womack. He asks, what were some of the challenges creating a live action version of this world, especially considering how long you're vividly living in your head? Part of it was just like me deciding like when I needed to let go of certain things. Because I've kind of established this reputation in the fandom as being someone who is like continuity ninja expert, and I knew that like if I depicted any detail the way like contrary to the way that it's depicted in canon, people were going to call me out on it, and like as if that were some sort of gotcha. Like, oh, like Ebenezer is depicted as bald and you have him having hair. Well, like no, like that was the best actor for the role. And so like at any time that there was any situation where there was like a deviation in terms of like this person looks a little bit more like the character that Jim describes, but this actor just absolutely nailed it and they're so much better for the part, I always went with the performance. Um, and yeah, and like, I think that that's always the right way to go, like going with performance first, as sort of like being that kind of guiding touchstone, because everyone imagines the characters looking differently. And if I picked people that looked exactly like my versions of the characters in my head, there's no guarantee that that they would match the descriptions in someone else's head. So so yeah, like kind of like letting go of that, sort of like knowing where like which battles I needed to pick. And then also just like there were some situations where like, yeah, like learning when artistic license was the best direction to go. Like I think that in the scene like at the Peace Summit, you describe Lara is wearing like a black or a navy blue dress, and because so many of the iconic costumes that we've seen Lara wearing have been white, I wanted for the additional visual recognition factor, like it was important to me that I depict her in a white dress. And so I went that direction, and I'm pleased with that choice. So yeah. And also it makes me laugh because this is going to be like really, really in the weeds, but like I'd originally sort of picked outfits for like Harry and Murphy so that they would look sort of like they're in sync with each other, and so like they're kind of this team, like just sitting on there on the couch. But like once we put that that sort of blue-green top under the theatrical lighting, it just completely turned gray. So like suddenly Harry and Murphy looked like completely out of sync there. And then he looked like he was in sync with Lara and Marcone with like wearing the white shirts. I'm like, no, what have I done? So that was unintentional, but ended up being hilarious. My brain is in a really fun place today, guys. I'm so happy that you guys are responding so positively to everything, and that you're so excited. Yeah, just sort of posting on this cloud. Do you have a question next, Jim?
Earlier in this live feed, Jim said, "A good story should break your heart sometimes. That's why we care about them." Can I quote this? Can you? I mean, I said it, and this is definitely going up on YouTube, so everybody's going to be able to see it. You might as well if you want to. I mean, I'll stand by that. Yeah, I mean, it's a good story. Yeah, it's got to do that to you sometimes, or you're not it's not hitting on the full range of human experience, you know. Priscilla, will we ever get outtakes from the trailer?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay,
yeah,
there,
I'm not
an
sure
outtake
when... Yes.
All right,
yeah, it was great because
we aim to please, so.
Oh yes, yeah, I'm not sure when that's going to happen, like when in our various Dresden drop schedule that's going to be. It might end up actually kind of being later in the year, but yeah. We do have some fun material that we look forward to showing
between then and now. Yeah. Let's see. Can we expect a COVID-19 inspired event in future Dresden adventures? Probably not in future Dresden adventures. Although there's going to be a plague story, because there's always a plague story whenever you got a long running story. Almost just darn near always. But I think I may well be writing up essentially an AU fanfic of the Dresden Files that I'll just write myself and give to you guys, and we'll see, and we'll set that in a parallel Dresden universe that starts at the same place right after Skin Game, and we'll see if we can do something with that. Maybe I can get some of that written over the next several weeks, just so people have something to think about other than ugly stuff, because that's a good thing. Now is the time when entertainers, this is the time in life where entertainers, it's time for us to go to war. So I think you're gonna see a lot of us doing everything we can to provide stuff to our readers and our fans and our viewers, because there's a lot of folks that are just like me on this. You know, you want to help. I can't make anybody better, but maybe I can make you not afraid for a little while you're reading my stuff if you're worried about it. And that's worth doing. I'll do that. Can we do more of these Q&As? Possibly. It would seem like this would be a great summer for it, right? Maybe I can round up some people and maybe I can call up Sanderson and Rothfuss and guys like that and say, hey, let's do a panel and just talk to people online. I bet they get behind that. Quick show of hands in the chat. Is that a good idea? Yes. Okay. Lots of coming too fast to read. Lots of exclamation points though. Okay, good. That's a good idea. I can't make any promises because I can only speak for myself, but I'll see what I can do. All right. What else we got?
Let's see.
Whoops. Hang on. My phone did weird things to me.
Have it marked for myself.
Okay.
Which one of these?
Here's a good question. Here's a good question. What was the most challenging part of splitting the manuscript? Did you have to kill any darlings to do it? And were you able to? And I didn't get the rest of the question. Just were you able to?
Oh. Yeah, I get distracted by shiny things.
And was I able to kill my darlings?
The general gist of what I was gonna write next was like were there any really cool things that you were able to add as a result, like to sort of balance the things that you were very disappointed to have to cut, like what were things that you were really excited that you got to add because you had so much more sort of space to work in.
It's not really a question that applies. I mean, this is my work and I've been doing this for a long time. So I don't really get too particularly excited except when I'm writing like big stuff that I've been planning to write for a long time. Most of the stuff, for instance, there's part of it where he's fighting a bunch of corner hounds, and the corner hounds hit him with an ability with one of their cool special attacks, and their cool special attack wiped out his short-term memory in the first draft. And the experience of having your short-term memory not work properly is a very disorienting one, because you're essentially following along about 11 seconds behind what's actually happening in the world around you, because that's how long it takes for memories to get transferred from short-term memory to long-term memory. But I wrote this scene, and it was very intensive and very, very viewpoint intensive and kind of confusing because of I was trying to write it from the viewpoint of the person experiencing that, and it was just unintelligible. So I wound up having to delete that part and not kind of write it that way. And that was one of the things that got changed on the trailer. Was because I deleted this whole different section.
It didn't get changed in the trailer. It stayed in the trailer. It got changed.
Stayed in the trailer, yeah. But it was a cool effect, so that's cool. I didn't have to.
In my defense, there's like entire scenes that were in like the Iron Man 2 or 3 trailer that were not actually in the movie, and then in like Rogue One,
Rogue One, yeah.
I think like only one shot from the trailer actually ended up in the movie. So that was my justification.
So much trailer porn in Rogue One. As far as killing darlings, though, no, that's not really. I mean, it's not really a question because I don't have any darlings. I just kill things when they need killing. That's part of being a professional writer. So I'm not really sure how to answer the question. I did have to change a bunch of things around. Mostly, though, by breaking it into 2 books and giving myself a little more time on each of them and a little more space on each of them to be able to handle all the plots, I was essentially just able to hurt everyone a lot more. Which, that's good writing, is when people are suffering. Yeah, that's what I was doing to it when we did it. I didn't really have to. I don't know that I killed any darlings, but I tortured them quite a bit more than I would have gotten to other. I mean, would have had to otherwise.
I remember doing a compare documents from like the first version and the latest, just so I could see like exactly what got changed. And I'm like, you monster again! Why would you do that? So yes.
Why, Thomas? Why? Well, it's Thomas. Come on, he means well. Cam 27022, a paramedic and ER tech in Chicago. Since the Fomor are seemingly extremely powerful, How come they seem to have been minor power before the fall of the Red Court? Because they were living in a place where they had no competition. The Fomor hang out under the ocean. Nobody else is there. They can do anything they want. They have no need to exercise power elsewhere because they're happy at home. That is starting to change now within the text of the story. But yeah, I mean, the Fomor have got a lot going over it. I mean, when you don't have to, when you're the only ones who don't have to hide from the humans, it gives you this huge advantage. Let's see. David, who's delivering food to people. What was the Unseelie incursion of 1994, and what happened to Milwaukee during that time? I want to write that up still. I mean, it hasn't been written yet, and I want to make it happen. I can probably go there with like a bunch of people who are dead and have them doing stuff, and that'd be fun. Since it's set, before the series starts. Let's see. Is the snowflake pen that Harry's id wears similar to the silver leaf pen Harry received from Summer? Why, yes, they are almost part of a match set if you put them down together. Let's see. Will we get more Carlos in both books? The dynamic between him and Harry are some of my favorite moments. Oh dear. Yeah. You're getting what you asked for. Be careful what you ask for, Doc Morris. Let's see.
He's in the trailer, so you know he appears at least.
Is there any talk chance of a Netflix? Okay, is there any talk chance of a Netflix series for Dresden Files similar to what they did with The Witcher? Probably not Netflix. Let's see. How many writing all-nighters did you pull as you pushed to make Peace Talks Battleground into 2 complete novels? There was a great many. There were, I think, 14 or 15 16-hour days in a row. And then I got sick and crashed for a while, and then did some more 16-hour days after that. And I think in the future I'll make sure to get more sleep and maybe do 12-hour days and spend some time being sane. And that way I keep the pace up longer when I need to.
We like Sane Jim. Sane Jim should be around more often.
Yeah, Sane Jim is a friendlier person. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, and you guys keep adding more here in the chat. Is there any significance to the release falling on Bastille Day? That was as soon as I could get it done.
It was also the publisher's decision.
Yeah, I really wanted this thing out. I really wanted this thing to come out April 1st. But the publisher, there's too many of you guys, so the publisher's got to make too many copies. So they have to, I'm one of the heavyweights now, so they have to put me in a heavyweight slot. There's only so many of those every month.
Only so many printing presses that they could have access to, something like that. I don't know. Let's see. What is one takeaway from making this trailer that will allow future trailers to kick even more ass? I think that because we were trying to pack so much into so little time, I wanted to have this like very exacting type A like shot list that was very lean in terms of like only the shots that we absolutely needed. And I think that I would have been better served like somehow reducing like the number of places we went, like making the whole script a little bit saner so that we could like get a little bit more coverage for things that like I didn't think that I would necessarily need, but would probably be a good idea to have in the editing room. Like I never got a shot of like people arriving at the peace talks, and like because of the way that our filming night ended up shaking out because of the rain delays and stuff, we weren't able to get like a real entrance for Lara, and so we ended up having to sort of like cobble something together that felt a little bit more like emotional than literal. And like rather than sort of like that long shot of Harry on the balcony, like it would have been really cool to like have people arriving or sort of show that this is something that like was involving a lot of people and would help kind of sell the idea that that Harry is kind of surrounded and sort of being compressed into this more tense space. So so yeah, like making more time for shots that would give me more creative options in the editing room, I think would have been very wise. And also, like I worked with this incredible artist from DreamWorks, Megan Lloyd, to create this all of our storyboards. And actually, you can see a lot of our storyboards. They were posted in a Dresden drop a few weeks ago, so you can check out her amazing art. But we didn't actually like take the time to like put the storyboards to music and make an animatic. And like in my mind, as I was sort of like reading the script to myself, like we had more than enough time. It was plenty. But then like once we actually cut everything together, like it was a lot more kind of harried than we would have really wanted. And so I think that like if we'd actually taken the extra time to sort of create that full-on animatic, so we knew exactly like how long each shot needed to last, I think that we would have like realized that like, hey, like we don't have enough time for all this material. Like we need to sort of reduce things somewhat. So the answer is more preparation. This is the person who spent 10 months working on this trailer. More prep, yes.
More prep, okay. For me, I just want to. I mean, if we do well, then I want to be able to spend the money for actual stunts, because I want some action. You know, we need to be able to blow some stuff up.
That was one of the biggest challenges that we had to face. Like based on our budget, like we could either like work with SAG actors to have like that sort of like kind of top tier of talent, and then just like the sheer talent pool, but like with the tier, no one cares about this. I should not talk about this anymore. But yeah, basically, like long story short, like we had a choice of like, do we want the higher tier actors, or do we want to be able to do stunts? And so we ended up actually casting mostly non-SAG actors. But yeah.
All right.
It was
Let's
a choice.
See here. Here's the one. Is Ivy attending alone? Yes. Okay. That's a rare answer, where I just give you a straight one. Priscilla, do you feel pressure from the fan base as you created the trailer, or did you feel more like you were getting to be a fan along with us and helping expand the universe some?
All of the above. I did feel a whole lot of pressure, and not like pressure from the fan base, but just like kind of pressure in my own mind, kind of like seeing how people had reacted to previous fan endeavors, and just like fans can be very harsh critics, and in some cases I feel like undeservedly harsh. Like once I see like all of the work that my friends put into like the Skin Game trailer and like Nightlight and Red Sun and those projects, and just I mean like all of the passion and all the love that went into those trailers, and then just to see people like I mean most people were very complimentary, but there were just those kind of bad apples that just wanted to tear everything apart, and it's like, what is wrong with you people? And
there's always somebody who's like that.
Yeah, and so in my mind, I was sort of constantly making, like weighing the choices. Like, okay, like here are the two, like based on these two choices that I could make. Like fans would say this about this choice, and fans would say this about this choice. Like in terms of criticism, which criticism do I want to receive? And so yeah. So
yeah. For with some folks, there's no winning. So you just do what you think is has the most artistic value, and go on to the next project.
Yeah, but it was also really fun, like getting like really into the weeds and doing details that I knew that like only like the like frame by frame watching obsessed people were going to pick up on. Like I deliberately shot Marcone so that like we would see his left side, so that like I could put like CG in like a tiny little scar on his ear where like whatever plastic surgeon had to reattach it after he was kidnapped by the Denarians.
Nerd! You are a nerd! A huge nerd! You CGI'd a scar onto...
Yeah, yeah. You
Okay.
can see it best in the shots in the Last Supper scene. Like it was
Okay.
too much in shadow in the locker room scene. But yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's been about an hour of our time, so we'll wrap this up now. If the folks who are watching this, I mean, if you could do me a favor and just share this on social media. We're supposed to be having this big premiere at Emerald City, and all the press would have been all over it, and all the videos on YouTube and the YouTubers and everything. But we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to go viral this way. But I figure everybody sitting at home watching videos, they might want to hear about stuff like this. So if you know anybody who's a fan and who might be worried, let them know they're going to have a couple of books this year. Maybe that'll give them something else to think about.
Fantastic.
All right, guys. Thank you very much to Priscilla Spencer, director of the trailer, to Alexi Vandenberg, our spider behind the scenes, making sure things go well. And thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time this morning, and I hope you enjoyed the talk.
See you around.
Are we clear?
We're let me stop recording. Stop recording, and we're not clear yet. Let's see.